Hi everyone, in this video, I will turn my Santa house into a toy factory, since I randomly thought about it lol. Anyway, let's get started. The first thing I do when decorating houses is add the wallpapers and flooring in the room I'm currently decorating. I decided to make these first couple of rooms an entrance area, where elves can greet each other, and act as receptionists where they can check other elves into the toy factory. Anyway, the first things I added were tall red walls to add some dimension to the corners, as I didn't think pillars would work here. Then I added some plants, rugs, and Christmas trees to make the entrance seem more lively. I placed the rugs to look like a pathway, and I basically expanded on that, adding more things on the sides. Anyway, now I'm placing a machine from the toy house, and I ended up using lots of these since elves are operating them and creating toys with them. Also, I placed some bags of gifts to act as finished toys, ready to be delivered. Then I added some lights, and started to decorate the right wall by placing some of the brown items. I'm not sure what they're called lol. Then I continued to upgrade the wall design by adding some slabs on top of the brown items. Then I continued to add onto it by adding red triangles, a water fountain, and a huge cup of hot chocolate. Now I'm decorating the tiny entrance room, and all I did was add plants, add a rug, and placed some candy canes onto the wall where the door is. Now I'm adding some wallpapers to the third entrance room as I moved on to decorating the huge room. For the wallpapers, I thought of the old Santa house wallpapers inside the Christmas shop during 2020's Christmas update. I made them yellow and a mac and cheese-like color, as well as adding a cream color in between. Anyway, now I'm picking the floor, which kind of followed through inside the other rooms later in the video. To give you guys context in what this room will be, it's going to be a plaza where elves can talk to each other, create more toys, and give those toys to the robot, which will pack them into gifts and such. Anyway, now I'm creating the same rug design as I did inside the entrance. I used the red rugs from the Halloween update to border the rugs from the Valentine's update. Now, I don't even know how I came up with this, but I thought the walls above the slide were empty, so I created a really interesting wall design. I started creating it by stacking some horizontal slabs all the way up to the ceiling. Then I added some orange shapes to make the wall design clash with the wallpapers. After that, I added some of the brown item and divided the orange part into little sections to place things inside, like fireplaces, and little doors to act as the elves' rooms. I'm not sure how they'll get up there lol. Now I'm creating another wall design, using red plates to try to match the vibe of the first wall design. I also added some brown items to connect the designs into one whole wall design. Anyway, then I continued expanding the wall design by adding some slabs, cuckoo clocks, and gingerbread people. Now I'm adding some windows to fill the rest of the blank space under the wall design. I also placed and raised some slabs to cover the tops of the windows, since I didn't like how they looked with the rest of the room. Now I'm not sure why I did this, but I started working on the next area, which will be where the elves work. I made the main room yellow, and the other rooms brown, and I think it kind of matched the elf plaza's style. Anyway, I started by decorating the second largest room. I didn't really decorate it though, as I only added a couple of toy machines. It'll make sense later though. Then I blocked off the access space using huge blocks. Now I'm working on the left room, which will be an office for the elves. They'll be able to track where presents arrive and solve minor issues concerning deliveries here. Then I placed a fridge from one of the past Christmas updates, and I decided to make the walls turquoise and forest green. Anyway, now I'm adding stuff onto the work counter, like electronics and miscellaneous items. I also added chairs for the elves to sit on while working. Now I'm placing some plants to make the room look more interesting and lively. Lastly, I added 2 snowflake rugs to create a bigger one, and some finishing touches to the office. Now I'm decorating the room to the right, which will be a pet station. At this point, I decided not to use the brown wallpapers idea, but I think it would have been cool. Anyway, I'm making this room simple by adding some green pillars and some slabs to decorate the walls a little bit. Now I was originally going to make the pet station raised, but I felt like that would make the elf office quite low compared to the pet area, so I lowered it a little bit later. You can take some inspiration though, as I'm going to add some plants later to match the green theme. Now I'm filling up the rest of the empty areas by adding some pet items and some brown items. Lastly, I added some flying acumas to act like regular butterflies. Now I'm decorating the back wall as I thought it looked quite empty lol. I just made some little wall designs and I placed some water fountains and Christmas items. Now I'm working on a table placed in the center of the room to act as an area to communicate ideas and such. Anyway, then I spent a little while adding tiny items and adjusting things, so you can listen to the Christmas-themed background music for a little while as I'm adding the finishing touches. Now I'm back to talking. Lastly, I added some slabs on top of the green pillars and adjusted some things. Now I'm working on the entrance to these rooms, and all I added were some closets. To make these closets, I merged some little Christmas-themed closets and some Easter-themed dressers into some slabs placed vertically onto the walls. Now I'm adjusting things to make sure the closets are even on both sides. Now I'm adding some plants and Christmas lights to finish this side of the toy factory. Now I'm working on the left side of the toy factory, which will be the living quarters for the boss of the factory. I was going to make this area ice-themed, but since I bought the Santa house when it first came out, I never got the house again to unlock the new wallpapers that came with it lol. So I decided to make the room blue and cream colored, using a snow wallpaper, the Smurf flowers wallpaper, and the brick wallpaper from the pack from the Valentine's event. Anyway, now I'm creating a bed design, adding dimension to the bed I placed, which was the one from the fashion furniture pack. Then I placed things surrounding it, like some rugs, things on the wall, and miscellaneous items. Now I added a Christmas wreath merged into the bed to mimic a disorganized space, and I added some plants around the space. Now I'm working on the kitchen. I usually start creating kitchens by placing some slabs to act as the counter, or as the place where I add the essentials onto. Then I added some Christmas-themed kitchen items, like the icy shelf and the icy fridge. After that, I merged two fireplaces together to mimic a huge oven to cook food like pizza inside. Then I placed some plants to make the kitchen more interesting to look at, and I merged some small slabs into the kitchen counter. Lastly, I placed some baguettes and a rug. Now I'm working on the other room to the right, which I'm splitting into two different sections. One of the sections is a pet area, and the other section is a bathroom, which I usually forget to include inside my builds lol. Anyway, I worked on the bathroom first, and I have nothing to say right now, aside that I placed the essentials and placed the sink beside the bathroom since I couldn't fit it inside. I created a sink design by stacking some slabs and merging a sink into them. I ended up using the galactic sink and then placed some little bathroom essentials. After that, I merged some small slabs into the sink counter, and I placed brown items to fill the empty spaces on the walls. Now I'm finishing this wall by placing a Christmas bell and a Christmas tree. Then I created the pet area, which is raised this time. I just used some grass blocks as the floor and some slabs as the steps. Anyway, then I placed some little pet items, since a whole pet station wouldn't fit inside the area. Then I placed two pet bathtubs, which I think made a cool design. Anyway, after that, I added some plants to make the pet area look more natural and less artificial lol. Then I thought some of the corners looked empty, so I added some pillars. Now I'm adding some more random items to make the living quarters less empty and full of things. The last thing I placed inside the living quarters was a table just to fill the room even more. I guess this table also acts as a place to place random things on lol. I also merged some blue and red seats to only show the blue part, as I was creating a placemat or a weirdly shaped cloth. Anyway, then I worked on the entrance to the living quarters, and since I was running out of ideas and I almost reached the furniture limit at this point, I just added some brown items, slabs, and plants. I think it gets the job done though. I also merged some Christmas closets into the slabs. Anyway, then I adjusted a lot of things before working on the second floor, so I guess you can jam to the background music for a little bit. Now I'm working on the last room inside the toy factory, which is the reindeer sanctuary, where all the reindeer train and hang out until they need to help drive any sleighs. Anyway, the last thing I did inside this house was add a bunch of elves around the place and adjust some more things. Now I'm finished with the toy factory, except for the exterior. So let's work on it. For the exterior, I wanted to make the paint on the house red, brown, and white, since that's what the entrance is based off of. Now for the tree, I added a red tree from one of the Lunar New Year updates, and for the exterior item, I added a sleigh. Lastly, I changed the mailbox. Now since I'm done with the whole toy factory, I'll give you a house tour. First of all, here's the exterior of the toy factory. I honestly love how it turned out. Now let's head on inside. When you step inside for the first time, you'll come into the entrance, or reception room, where elves can work and talk to each other. If you walk forward, you'll arrive inside the plaza or main room, where elves can chat even more and they can bring finished toys to the robot in the center. If you head to the right, you'll step inside the elves' workshop, where they make toys using some machines, track presents inside the office, and take care of their pets if they have any. If you head to the left of the plaza, you'll come to the living quarters, where you can cook delicious meals, take care of your pets, and relax on the bed. Last but not least, if you walk into this mysterious door, you'll step into the reindeer sanctuary, where reindeers can eat, sleep, and relax before they have to deliver toys. Anyway, now that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.